What's up, everybody? My name is Kevin, and I'm part of the developer experience team here at OpenAI. And today I'm going to show you how to run evals in the dashboard at platform.openai.com. Now, recently, you always had to use external tools in order to evaluate the outputs of your LLM applications, but now you can do it directly in the dashboard. So in this case, I'm going to take a test data set that I have that contains movie reviews, and I'm going to write a prompt that's going to evaluate the contents of those movie reviews and tell me whether or not they're positive or negative. So to start creating an evaluation, I'm going to come up here and click the Create button. And I have a few different options for like wizards that'll take me through the process, but I'm going to start by uploading a data file that I already have. So I'm going to grab this CSV data here. And as it's uploaded, I can kind of see a preview of the data. It's going to give me the text of some movie reviews from IMDb. And it's also going to give me a human labeled sort of output that I would expect my LLM application to output as well. So for negative reviews, the label will be a 0. And for positive reviews, the label will be a 1. So I have about 500 rows in my data set here. So that looks good. I'm going to click Next. And now I'm going to actually generate the model output that I'm going to test against. So I do have some system messages here that I'm just going to pop in. So I'm going to grab my system prompt here, which with some instructions about how to output the proper review content. And then I need to add a user message as well, which is going to have the individual bits of data that I'm going to need from the data set to test against. And in order to insert dynamically the content from the data set, I'm going to use this double curly brace syntax and say, like, for each item, for the text property of each item, I'm going to include that within the user message. And then for starters, I'm going to use GPT-4o to generate these reviews. So that's going to be the first set of model outputs I'm going to evaluate. And I also need some test criteria. So these are going to be the actual graders or the metrics by which the eval will actually determine whether or not the application is working. So in this case, I think a string check is probably going to be fine because I'm asking the model to just output a 0 or a 1. I should just be able to compare two variables to see if they're the same. So I'm going to look at the label from my test data set. And then I'm going to compare that to sample output text, which is going to be the output from the model, which I expect to be either a 0 or a 1. Okay, awesome. So I've got my test criteria locked in. I've got all my graders set up. I could add more test criteria if I wanted. I can even click this test evaluation button, and that's going to kind of go through the first 10 rows or so of the data set and show me, and sort of give me a preview of what that will look like. So I don't have to kick off the eval if I have a very large data set and then realize that I've misconfigured it in some way. So it kind of gives me a sense of how much, like what the token usage is going to be. And it kind of shows me like a few previews here. So it looks like, oh, I've got one failure here in this row, but let's hold off on passing judgment until we see the full run. So I'm going to click Run. And then this will actually execute in the background. If you have a very large data set, you can navigate away from this and it's not going to be a problem. But in true cooking show fashion, while this eval run completes, I can show you a full completed one that I ran earlier that I got about a 96% pass rate, which is great. And then I can look at the individual run or the individual criteria grader results that will show me whether or not each particular prompt passed. So we have the full set here, but I can also filter it to show just the failures. So I can see, for this particular row, it looks like this prompt was evaluated by a human to be positive, but my model, actually gave me a 0 output for it being a negative review. So I can drill into that. I can adjust my prompt to see how I could make that kind of match what I would expect to see from my ground truth. And one other thing I wanted to show is in addition to checking the results, you can click this Add Run button, and I can actually try my same eval run again with a different prompt. So let's say, I want to try on 4.0 mini just to see what kind of results I get with a smaller model. and kind of compare the quality of those two results. And then I can compare the results side by side here as well. So the evals product is still in beta. We would really value your feedback. So if you want to hit us up on the community forums, community.openai.com, or let us know on social media what you think. We'd love to hear how you're using evals.